We're going to call this meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, September the 17th. We're going to convene our Economic Opportunity Advisory Council meeting for today, and we're in the government chambers, board commission chambers, and I'm going to call this meeting to order and ask that you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Let's please join me in taking a moment of silence to think about and remember the brave men and women of our United States military that serve us here and abroad, and locally our first responders and our law enforcement folks that keep us safe and serve us every day. Okay, thank you. First order of business is approval of the meeting minutes from August the 20th, 2019.
Second.
I move approval.
Thank you. We have a motion. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approval of the minutes of August the 20th, 2019, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. That motion carries unanimously. Are we going to skip down the agenda, I guess, Helga, for, okay. Okay, so let's just go to the executive director report, I guess.
Okay, I appreciate that. We have a couple of things to talk about. It's been a pretty busy month. As you all know, Project Columbus, or Discovery World Furniture, has been formally announced, and we're moving forward with that. That's the one that's 250,000 square feet. 50 to possibly 60 jobs now, because we're talking about an expansion before he even breaks ground, and jobs that are manufacturing, assembly, and distribution. So we're really excited about that project. Also, Project Alice was announced. It was a little bit earlier than we had anticipated the announcement. But again, very good news, 30 to 40,000 square feet of life sciences space that would be on the north end of the county, over by Matanzas. Flagler Health coming into the community. So we're excited about that. That's going to be about 70 jobs. And again, about 72,000, I think it was, per year average wage. Other than that, we've been working on a couple of other projects that should be coming out pretty soon. Project Rick is a new construction project. It's estimated that they're going to be about 20 to 25,000 square feet in the city of Palm Coast. They have a prospective tenant. As soon as that's been secured, they'll start construction on that project. Project ARN is a project we've been working on for about a year and a half, 2 years, about 2.5 years. Time goes so fast. Again, another life science project that should be coming, being able to be announced in a few months as well. Another thing we've been working on is the 1 to 100 project, which is the extension of the roadway that runs by the Wendy's over on 100. We want to extend that road to Route 1. We've been working very closely with the city of Bunnell on that, and the idea is to create a full employment district in there that would include new construction of manufacturing facilities within the center of it. It would open up 120 acres of industrial manufacturing space, but it also provides acreage for entry-level housing. And it's the same road that the county is currently planning to construct the high-tech library center, as well as the new sheriff's department. So it will include training. We've spoken to CareerSource about providing dollars for training for future manufacturing jobs that come in. There's also going to be affordable housing that comes into the area. We've talked to our departments here about funding those kinds of things. And the city of Bunnell is going to consider a zoning overlay for that district. Katrina and I will actually be presenting to their council next week. And I believe last meeting you saw the video that we started to work on that. So we're moving forward with that. We're going to be collaborating with the city to submit a grant proposal for the Florida Future Jobs Growth Grant. And we're looking to have half of the road funded through that grant. So that's what we're going to be presenting to the city of Bunnell next week. So we're excited about that. The end of the month, I'm going out on another recruitment mission, heading north. So hopefully that will provide for some results as well. Another project we're working on, Project Sparky, which is something that will probably come forward in a month. We'll be able to announce that. That's approximately 40 jobs, again, manufacturing jobs. They're looking in Bunnell. So we're very excited about that. That's a project that we started, that one was about a year ago. And they got busy in their current operation, so it went to a back burner, and they're back in the front again. So hopefully that one will come forward soon. And then on business retention and expansion, we're working on 2 projects there. One is a specific company within the county that is expanding their operations, and that's, all of you know, Santori and Sons. They were actually here, presented to you. We're still working with them in their expansion as well as their need for additional employees.
Can I ask a question on that?
Sure.
Expanding on their current location?
Yes, they're going to stay where they currently are. They've gotten additional lands, and they're going to be building new structures in there so they can separate the operations a little bit better. And also looking to hire new employees. So that's another one. And then we were looking at doing a program, actually, because we've got so many of our businesses that are looking for employees, and they're having difficulty getting the word out to the general public. I had a conversation with the radio station, and we're going to look to do something with the radio station to get the word out locally. So it's still being developed. They're working with us on creating kind of a brand with the job creation. So it'll be kind of like an ongoing virtual job fair. So we'll still do our annual physical job fair, but we're kind of amping up our efforts in that front. And it'll be something that'll help our existing businesses to find the employees that they need. And that's all that I have. But if I could ask Mr. Federline to update us on the Alliance 4 meeting.
On the 6th of September, Alliance 4 had its second large meeting. I attended the manufacturing sector of the meeting, and the topics we really covered were best practices for hiring, training and development, and recruitment and retention. And the chapter of in the first meeting, FAME was discussed, which is a program that Toyota sponsors, which is somewhat of an apprentice program, but they don't like to call it an apprentice program. And they created the Sunshine chapter here in Florida, and there's 33 chapters in 11 states right now. So we're the 33rd chapter, and it comprises of 3 days of technical training and 2 days of working for 5 semesters, and there's no summer break, so it's 5 contiguous semesters. And they're looking for 10 to 15 students for the current class that they're going to make in the form of a cohort, and it'll start in August of 2020. And they usually target high school grads, and 70, which comprises about 70% of the classes, and they look for 20 to 30% of their class population to be a little older. So, and the students get an AS degree at the completion of their 5 semesters. They get paid a living wage plus tuition during each of the 5 semesters. And usually there's a spot for employment at the end of the training program by the sponsoring company. The next topic that they covered was really how do you get students into manufacturing? And right now, Career Source is planning to do a video that's going to be shown in high schools that directly addresses manufacturing occupations, and they're going to tune it toward what Flagler County needs. So that should be very interesting. And it's going to be a video that looks at manufacturing as a career path rather than a specific job. And they're going to target the high school students, and they will focus on data and analysis and high-touch products and programmable logic control. So those are the areas that they feel that the highest occupation hit rates will be in the program. And the last area that we really addressed was recruitment and retention. That had probably the largest amount of discussion, and it was interesting how specialty employers, they had one employer who does laser communication products, and their specialty was blown glass. And these pieces of blown glass, are 15 to 30 feet in length, so you have to join multiple segments, and it's a very high tech, high skill type of occupation where they want to retain their employees, and their benefits start on day 91 of your employment, and they cover 90% of all your medical health costs. To retain the employee. And so it's like, it was really eye-opening. There was another company who had maternity benefits, and I forgot the exact number of weeks, but it was 16 weeks of employment, weeks of maternity benefits. And if a husband and wife both worked at the same company, they both got the benefit. So it was a total of 32 weeks that you could have maternity benefits for at-home leave. So I thought that was pretty incredible. And Hudson Technologies, who is really the leader, Brett Smits of the thing, has their a bonus program, and they have half of their bonus when you're actually hired, and you get the other half of the bonus at 6 months. And they also have a referral bonus, so there could be 2 people involved in paying out the bonuses. That's pretty much it in the manufacturing side of it. I noticed you covered, there were 2 different other areas that were covered also.
Yeah, so the Alliance 4 program is set up to cover all of the target industries from a workforce standpoint. And the manufacturing, you've provided such a great summary of the manufacturing, because that's one of their key focuses. The training programs that are being developed now are phenomenal, and some of these efforts that they're coming up with, like the bonus structures and paying part up front and part down the road, those are all things that we're trying to document so that then we can put together a thing of best practices to provide to other businesses within the community that haven't been as engaged in the monthly or quarterly meetings, and let them know about what their counterparts are doing to recruit. It's a national issue trying to find the right employees. So, do you want to add on the other meeting?
Yeah, I sat in on health services, medical, and what they were finding was there's not an issue so much with retention of the higher paying jobs. So, for example, the RNs or the BSNs, the techs. But what they are having trouble with is the CNAs and that class of medical personnel, because what's happening, and one woman made a very good point, is this is a marginalized group of people that are receiving a wage that is $12 an hour. So there are times when they just don't even have money for gas. And if something happens and their child care falls through, they don't have money for child care. So you had people in the room who were complaining about the lack of commitment So, for example, staffing agencies who hire a lot of CNAs complaining about the lack of commitment among these people, but then a very good point was made. If they're not making a living wage, I mean, these people who are responsible for taking care of our sick and our elderly, how can we depend on them? And quite frankly, who wants to go into that job? They're not even getting people into the certification programs that they used to get into. Or the other thing that happens is they go through this certification program, their hearts are in the right place, they want to help. And then they get on the job the first day and they're hit with the reality of, quite frankly, human functions that and belligerence and dementia behavior that they are just not equipped to handle. So, how do you solve that problem? There were no answers with my group.
Yeah, but the key is that the conversation is started, right? So we're not just sitting around saying, hey, I can't find a workforce. What we're doing is we're actually dissecting what the issues are and trying to come up with real solutions. So these meetings are going to continue to go on. Some of them are meeting separately on a monthly basis. Others are going to continue with the quarterly, main groups. We're looking to try to find additional businesses that would be interested in becoming engaged so that their concerns can be heard and also put into into that bowl so that we can come up with a solution. I mean, it's not going to be a one fix for everybody or every type of industry, but it is something that will get us in the right direction.
We did send an email blast out to all of the businesses here in Flagler County. However, it was still very Volusia heavy when we went.
Yeah.
So, we'd like to encourage Flagler businesses to get involved. And I know that businesses are very busy running their businesses, and time away from work sometimes means a loss of money. But to go ahead and resolve some of these issues, engagement is necessary.
And I think the key thing is that it's not just a conversation. It's a conversation that's going to lead to some kind of solution. Like I said, people have talked about it for a long time. This is very solution-oriented. So it's a good program. The other thing that we do need to bring up is, post-hurricane, the state does an analysis of the damages that were caused to the businesses under Florida Disaster Biz. We've sent out an e-blast to our local businesses. We're also going to be posting on our Facebook page, and we've asked the county to post. I would ask that all of you on your pages or in your conversation also forward this information. This survey is done not just to take a survey. Those results are then utilized to determine where funds are distributed, how funds are distributed, what kinds of weaknesses there are in the link when it comes to responding to disasters. So if our businesses have had issues with, during the storm, let's say it was a food entity and they had all of this food in storage that they lost because power went out or because their operations closed, and the food industry specifically is hit hard during these things because their inventory has a very short timeline to it. Sorry?
Particularly on a holiday weekend.
Yeah,
They were
it
all
really,
stocked up for that Labor Day weekend.
yeah,
Yeah, most of my restaurant clients they lost Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. A lot of them reopened Thursday, but
Yeah.
traffic was way down, and obviously Labor Day is a huge day, as
it's the end of the season, right?
Commissioner Revels talked about, yeah.
Yeah, so if we could express to those businesses the importance of answering the survey when we send it out. We've also connected with the tax collector's office to get the list of business licenses and businesses that perhaps haven't registered with us or aren't on any of our lists right now, so we can do a widespread outreach. It's important. It's a 10-minute survey, and it will affect the amount of financial and operational assistance that we receive in the county or in the state as well. It's looked at from a a statewide, a regional, and a countywide basis. So it's
One
important.
good note from the hurricane, this time, last year when we were working in the EOC, we didn't have as much response from the businesses when we had sent out the email blasts. And I have a list of essential businesses that would have refrigeration, generators, or food,
Yes.
pharmacy, gas, water, and, human essentials. And this time, we got a lot of feedback. Hey, we're closing and we're going to be open again at this time. Or, hey, we're out of water. Oh, we're stocked with water. So they were reaching back out to us this year, which was fantastic. So what we're doing is starting to really grab hold.
To back up a little bit, finding employees and whole thing to do. Can you hear me?
Is your mic on?
How about now?
Red button on?
Button, it's up.
Up there we go.
Your
Just
mic's
bring
up.
it closer
Just
to you.
bring it closer. There you go.
Well, one of the things that happened for us is we kept losing people, mostly women, not on the first child, but on the second child. They wanted to stay home because they wanted to take care of the kids. So I put forth and I'll give you two examples of how we were able to retain. I decided to let's try a daycare center. Well, of course, the minute I put daycare down and the cost of starting one up, everybody went, there's no way we're doing this, right? So what I did is I did a study on when we lose somebody that has all that experience and everything, the cost of rehiring, the cost of bringing them up to speed, the cost that it comes into the company is way more expensive because you lose them, you lose them, you lose them. It's a
Yeah.
thing that doesn't stop. So we put the daycare center in, and with the daycare center, we lost no mothers.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
were all in our marketing
Well,
department.
and
which-
everybody appreciated it, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, and we subsidized it so that they didn't pay as much. In another area, we had a couple of small manufacturing facilities, and it was a healthcare problem because they sort of had them, a small facility to how do you find, and everybody was gouging them because they could, because they had no choice. They had to go to them.
Right.
So we got all the businesses together and formed an alliance with healthcare companies. So now all of a sudden, instead of having 200 employees, you have 1,800, 2,000, 3,000 employees in this thing. They immediately got a break on healthcare costs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I realize there's a lot of small businesses here. If they all got together and did something in that, and nobody thinks
Yeah.
about it.
Or maybe even through the chamber, something like
Yeah,
that.
you get all that done. It keeps the employees. The other thing is if you do that, especially daycare, moms will come. That's expensive.
Yeah.
If you have 2 kids in daycare, that's expensive. We put a little cafeteria in for them so the moms could go down and eat with them. And we were careful, though. They wanted us to put a monitor so they could watch the kid during the day, and we didn't think that would be too good of an idea because the productivity would drop significantly. But there's all different kinds of things that you can do, and even with small groups. And I thought it was pretty interesting. And once you do that for the employees, you have employees who become a lot more loyal. They don't want to leave.
That's right. They're more vested in the community because you're more vested in them,
So,
right?
Yeah, so if we could get them all together and stop them for a couple of minutes to talk to them about, forming a conglomerate or a society or a group or whatever you want to call it, you have a lot more power when you all work together.
Well, and I think that's what the idea with the Alliance for is to get all of the different groups together and come up with ideas like that. And I mean, you were doing it how many years ago, right?
Oh, yeah, like 20.
So a lot of times what happens is these things just have to come full circle again. They fall out and then you need to bring them back for whatever reasons. So, but, those are the kinds of things that could be brought up to them or should be brought up to them. You attended one of the Alliance for meetings, right?
Yeah, one.
Yeah. So interested in going to more?
Yeah, I'll go. I had just flown back from Seattle that morning, so I said it's going to be a little rough for me to make it right now. So, yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So, but any of you who are interested, or if you know any businesses that are interested, it's a worthwhile program.
I have just one question. I wouldn't ask this except we got presentations fairly frequently from the Business Assistance Center.
Mm-hmm.
And My understanding is that the funding has not going forward for that group. Is that true?
I'm not sure. Right now, that's over at the city. And last we heard that they were funded through the end of the year. I'm not sure what's going on after that.
Oh, okay. I heard it's not going to continue, but that may not be the most up-to-date news.
Yeah, I'm not current on that. We can find out, though, and get back to you on it.
Are we going to move past our presentation, I guess?
You know, John has texted. He had the Palm Coast City Council meeting this morning that he was at first, and they were doing a. I'll read you his text. They were doing a proclamation at the city during the meeting, and he was going to come over as soon as that was done, and that may have run a little bit late. So I think we should just continue on.
Okay, so next item on the agenda is council comments, and we'll start down there. Joe, anything additional to add? Okay, that was fast.
Okay, yeah, that was quick.
We have no one from the public, so no need to open up public comment.
Right.
Next meeting is scheduled for October the 15th, and if there's nothing else, I'll just entertain a motion to adjourn. All right, we're
All
adjourned.
right. Thank you, everyone.